The scream tore through the sterile hallway of Magnolia City Medical Center. "Please, someone help us! My wife is bleeding!" Malik's voice cracked as he held Amara's trembling hand. Her hospital gown was soaked crimson, her eyes wide with terror. 38 weeks pregnant, and now fighting for 2 lives on a stretcher abandoned in a forgotten corner of the emergency ward. A nurse glanced up from her station, made direct eye contact with Malik, then looked back down at her computer. 3 hours. That's how long they had been waiting. The blood pooled beneath Amara, dripping onto the pristine white floor tiles. Her breathing grew shallow, each inhale more labored than the last. The kicks from her unborn child, once strong enough to wake her at night, had weakened to barely perceptible flutters. "Please," Malik approached the nurse's station again, his voice breaking. "Something's wrong. The baby isn't moving like before." The nurse, her badge read Director Larkin, sighed heavily. Without looking up from her screen, she spoke in a flat, disinterested tone. "Sir, we're understaffed tonight. There are other patients ahead of you. Please return to your seat and wait your turn." "But she's hemorrhaging, look at her." "Sir," Larkin's voice hardened, "I said wait your turn." Down the hall, a white woman walked in, wincing from what appeared to be a minor ankle sprain. 3 staff members immediately rushed to her aid, guiding her to a treatment room. Malik's hand tightened into a fist. He pulled out his phone, his fingers trembling with rage and fear. "What are you doing?" Amara whispered, her voice barely audible. "Documenting everything," he replied, hitting record. "They can't treat us like this." What the hospital staff didn't know was that in exactly 5 minutes, Malik's recording would ignite a firestorm. 5 minutes after that video hit social media, the entire night shift would be gathering their belongings, security escorting them from the building. 5 minutes that would end careers, spark nationwide outrage, and expose decades of systematic racism hidden behind the respected walls of Magnolia City Medical Center. 5 minutes too late to save a precious life. "Malik," Amara's voice was fading now, her hand going limp in his, "I don't feel the baby anymore. If you believe every patient deserves dignity regardless of race, hit subscribe now. This is Black Voice Stories bringing you the truth they don't want you to hear. Tell us where you're watching from, because this story isn't just about one hospital, it's happening everywhere." 3 weeks before that night at the hospital, Amara Toussaint stood in the nursery of their modest apartment, running her fingers across the hand-painted mural of stars and moons. The gentle autumn light streamed through gauzy curtains, casting golden patterns across the crib Malik had assembled with such care. "You think our little one will like it?" she asked, both hands cradling her full belly. Malik Okoye wrapped his arms around her from behind, his chin resting on her shoulder. "Our child will love it just like they'll love you." Their story wasn't extraordinary. College sweethearts who'd weathered 6 years together, building careers in education and engineering, saving diligently for their first home. What made them remarkable was their unwavering belief in each other, their shared dreams, and the fierce love they already felt for their unborn child. "I have something to show you," Malik said, reaching into his pocket. He pulled out a small journal, its leather cover etched with constellations matching the nursery wall. "What's this?" Amara asked, opening to find blank pages. "Letters to our baby, one for each year of their life. I've already written the first 18, for the moments we want them to remember, for the lessons we want to teach." Amara's eyes filled with tears as she flipped through pages of Malik's neat handwriting, wisdom, hopes, promises for their child's future. "Year 1, she read aloud. "You were born into a world that might not always see your worth, but never doubt that you are cherished beyond measure. Your mother is the strongest woman I know. Learn from her courage." That evening they ate dinner on their balcony, Amara's favorite jerk chicken, plantains, and the mango ice cream she'd been craving for weeks. They talked about names, about first steps, first words, first days of school. "I can't wait to meet you," Amara whispered to her belly later that night, feeling the familiar kick in response. "Just a little while longer." She drifted to sleep with Malik's hand protectively over her abdomen, dreams filled with lullabies and tiny fingers wrapped around hers. At 3:17 a.m., Amara woke with a gasp. The sheets beneath her were wet, not with the amniotic fluid she'd expected, but with something darker. Pain tore through her lower abdomen, sharp and unrelenting. "Malik," she choked out, shaking him awake. "Something's wrong." He switched on the lamp, and both froze at the sight of blood spreading across their bed. "Call 911, she whispered, clutching her stomach. "The baby, please call 911. The ambulance never came. After 20 minutes of waiting, pain intensifying with each passing second, Malik helped Amara to their car. The digital clock on the dashboard read 3:52 a.m. as they pulled into Magnolia City Medical Center's emergency entrance. The automatic doors slid open to reveal a fluorescent-lit waiting area. Despite the blood seeping through Amara's nightgown, the receptionist, a woman with frosted blonde hair and tired eyes, barely looked up from her computer. "Fill these out," she said, sliding a clipboard with 7 pages of forms across the counter. "Both sides." "My wife is 38 weeks pregnant and bleeding heavily," Malik explained, his voice rising. "We need help now." The receptionist glanced at Amara, then back at her screen. "Protocol requires completed forms before triage. Hospital policy." Malik's hand trembled as he filled out page after page. Insurance information, medical history, consent for treatment, alternative dispute resolution clauses in microscopic print. All while Amara doubled over, clutching her abdomen, blood dripping onto the linoleum floor. A young white couple walked in. The woman, visibly pregnant but showing no signs of distress, approached the desk. Within minutes, a nurse escorted them through the double doors. "Excuse me," Malik called out. "My wife has been waiting. She's in serious condition." The nurse paused, surveyed Amara from a distance and responded, "The doctor will see you when we have available space. Please complete your paperwork." 47 minutes later, a different nurse finally called Amara's name. They were led to a hallway where a stretcher waited. Not a room, not an examination area, just a stretcher in a corridor where staff hurried past without a glance. "Someone will be with you shortly," the nurse said, disappearing around a corner. The minutes stretched into hours. Amara's skin grew clammy, her breathing shallow. The blood loss continued. 3 times Malik approached the nurse's station. 3 times he was told to wait. "It hurts so much," Amara whispered, her voice weaker now. "Why won't they help us?" Across the hall, a room door stood open. Inside, a white patient laughed with 2 nurses while a doctor checked her vitals. The sound of their casual conversation drifted out. Jokes about a sprained wrist, offers of pain medication, warm blankets. Amara squeezed Malik's hand suddenly, her eyes widening with fear. "What is it?" he asked, leaning closer. "The baby," she whispered, her hand moving frantically across her belly. "I can't feel any movement, nothing at all." Malik rushed to the nurse's station again, desperation in his voice. "My wife can't feel our baby moving anymore. Please, we need help now." Nurse Director Larkin looked up, irritation crossing her face. "Sir, we're doing the best we can. If you continue to be disruptive, I'll have to call security." It was then Malik saw it. The slight eye roll she exchanged with another nurse. The dismissive shrug. The total absence of urgency. In that moment he understood. They weren't going to help. Not in time. Have you ever been ignored when your life was on the line? Has the color of your skin determined whether medical professionals took your pain seriously? Drop a comment if you've witnessed healthcare discrimination. Like this video if you believe black mothers deserve better than what America's healthcare system offers them. Subscribe for the truth they don't want exposed. "We're leaving," Malik whispered, his voice breaking. "They're not going to help us." Amara looked up at him, tears streaming down her face. "But the baby, that's why we need to go. Now." His decision crystallized as he watched another nurse walk past without acknowledging them, the 4th in 20 minutes. In 3 hours, not a single medical professional had checked Amara's vitals, listened to the baby's heartbeat, or offered any treatment beyond a stretcher in a hallway. With gentle hands, Malik helped Amara sit up. Her skin had taken on a grey pallor, her once vibrant eyes now dull with pain and fear. As he gathered their belongings, his phone weighed heavy in his pocket. "I need to show people what happened here," he said, pulling out his phone and pressing record. The video began with a slow pan of the hallway, empty except for them. Malik's voice, steady despite his rage, narrated the time, 6:48 a.m., 3 hours and 22 minutes since they arrived. "This is my wife, Amara," he said, turning the camera to her. 38 weeks pregnant, bleeding heavily. No one has examined her. No one has checked our baby. He turned the camera to show the blood-soaked stretcher, then to the nurses' station where staff chatted casually. They see us. They choose to ignore us. As they moved toward the exit, a security guard approached. "Sir, you can't record in here." "Watch me," Malik replied, continuing to film as they walked out. In the car, Amara collapsed against the seat, her breath coming in short gasps. "Where do we go now?" "Memorial Hospital. It's further, but they can't treat us worse than this." That evening, from a different hospital bed, where doctors had confirmed their worst fears, Malik uploaded the 9-minute video. By midnight, it had 2 million views. News outlets picked it up by morning. As Justice for Amara trended nationwide by noon, thousands shared similar stories. Black patients ignored, dismissed, their pain minimized until it was too late. Community organizers gathered outside Magnolia City Medical Center, their signs demanding accountability. Civil rights attorneys called, offering representation. Healthcare advocacy groups cited statistics. Black women are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women, all because Malik had pressed record. Ask yourself, when was the last time you witnessed someone being treated differently because of their race? Did you speak up? Did you document it? Or did you walk by, just like those nurses walked past Amara? By dawn the next day, Malik's video had reached 20 million views. News vans lined the street outside Magnolia City Medical Center, their satellite dishes extending into the gray morning sky. Protesters gathered by the hundreds, their chants echoing through the hospital corridors. "Say her name, Amara Toussaint. Black mothers matter. No more deaths from neglect." Inside the imposing glass tower of the hospital's administrative wing, an emergency board meeting convened. 12 executives sat around a polished mahogany table, faces grim as they watched Malik's video play on the wall-mounted screen. "This is a PR nightmare," said the chief operations officer, dabbing sweat from his brow. The hospital's legal counsel cleared her throat. "It's more than that. We've received notice of a lawsuit, and the Department of Health has launched an investigation." Board members exchanged nervous glances as the hospital's data analyst entered with a thick folder. "You asked for statistics on patient wait times by race," she said, sliding papers across the table. "The numbers are concerning." The room fell silent as they reviewed the data. Black patients waited an average of 137 minutes longer than white patients for emergency care. For pregnant women, the disparity widened to 189 minutes. The pattern was undeniable, consistent, damning. "There's more," the analyst continued. "We've had 6 maternal deaths in the past 18 months. All were women of color. All involved excessive wait times." The board chair's face drained of color. "And no one flagged this pattern?" "Several staff members filed reports," the HR director admitted, including 3 nurses who were subsequently terminated for creating a hostile work environment. The video played again. Amara's pain, Malik's desperation, the casual indifference of the staff. The board chair slammed her hand on the table. "This ends today." At 10:17 a.m., security personnel entered the hospital floor where Amara had been neglected. They approached Nurse Director Larkin first, who was laughing with colleagues at the station. "Your hospital ID and keys, please," the head of security requested. "Excuse me?" Larkin scoffed. "You're being terminated, effective immediately. All staff on duty during the Toussaint incident are being escorted from the building." The shock rippled through the department as security collected badges from every nurse, doctor, and receptionist who had been present. 17 staff members in total, their careers ended in 5 minutes flat. As word spread, patients and visitors pulled out phones, recording the procession of disgraced healthcare workers being escorted to the exit. Larkin's protests echoed down the hallway, the same hallway where she had ignored Amara's pleas. "You can't do this. I've worked here for 12 years. 5 minutes, the security guard replied. That's how long it took the board to review the evidence and fire everyone. 5 minutes is all it took to end your career. How many minutes did Ms. Toussaint beg for help? Outside, the crowd parted as the former employees emerged, heads down, avoiding the cameras and the questions shouted by reporters. By afternoon, the hospital announced a complete overhaul of emergency protocols, mandatory bias training, and the establishment of a patient advocacy department with community oversight. Too late for Amara and Malik's child, just in time to save countless others. If watching these people face consequences for their actions brings you a sense of justice, hit that like button now. But remember, this isn't just one hospital's problem. Subscribe and share this video to expose medical racism wherever it exists. The only way to end systemic discrimination is to shine a light on it. Are you with us? 3 weeks after losing their child, Amara and Malik filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Magnolia City Medical Center. Their attorney, civil rights lawyer Dominique Watkins, didn't mince words at the press conference on the courthouse steps. "This isn't just about one hospital or one night," she declared. "This is about a healthcare system that consistently devalues black lives, particularly black mothers." The evidence mounted quickly. Expert witnesses testified that immediate medical intervention could have saved their baby. An obstetric specialist from Johns Hopkins reviewed the timeline and concluded, "With standard triage protocols, this would have been classified as a level 1 emergency requiring immediate care." State health authorities launched a comprehensive investigation requesting 5 years of patient data from Magnolia City Medical Center. What they found shocked even seasoned healthcare advocates. Black patients were 3.4 times more likely to experience significant delays in treatment, 2.7 times more likely to be denied pain medication, and 4.1 times more likely to die from preventable complications. The hospital's internal communications revealed staff members had complained about racial bias for years. Their concerns had been systematically dismissed, buried in HR files labeled disgruntled employees. As the legal proceedings intensified, Magnolia City Medical Center's board implemented sweeping reforms. Creation of an independent patient advocacy department staffed by community members, mandatory quarterly bias training for all employees, implementation of a second opinion protocol for any patient reporting severe pain, installation of tracking technology to monitor wait times by demographic, anonymous reporting system for staff to flag discriminatory practices, diverse hiring initiatives for leadership positions. The ripple effects spread nationwide. 6 major hospital systems implemented similar reforms within months. Medical schools added curriculum focused on recognizing and combating bias in healthcare. Insurance companies began tracking disparities in care and adjusting reimbursement rates accordingly. Most significantly, state legislators introduced the Amara's Law bill, requiring hospitals to publish wait time data by race, gender, and income level. Facilities failing to address disparities would face funding cuts and increased oversight. "This case has done what decades of research couldn't," said Dr. Elaine Jeffries, head of the National Institute for Healthcare Equity. "It's forcing the medical establishment to confront its biases with concrete action, not just empty promises." For Amara and Malik, the legal battle continued, but each court appearance strengthened their resolve. Their personal tragedy had ignited a movement, transforming grief into action, pain into purpose. "Our baby never took a breath in this world," Amara testified, her voice steady despite her tears, "but their impact will save countless lives." On the 1-year anniversary of their loss, Amara and Malik stood before a freshly planted magnolia tree in the memorial garden they had created. Small stones encircled its base, each inscribed with a name: children who never had a chance, mothers who died giving birth, families shattered by medical negligence. "We named her Hope," Amara said quietly, touching the smooth bark, "because that's what she gave others, even though she never got to live." The journey through grief had nearly broken them. Nights when Amara woke screaming, clutching her empty abdomen. Days when Malik couldn't speak through his rage. The nursery door they couldn't bear to open for months. But healing came, not from forgetting, but from fighting. The first time I spoke at a medical conference, I could barely stand, Amara recalled. But I heard my daughter's voice inside me saying, "Keep going, Mum. They need to hear this." And they listened. Over 200 hospitals across the country implemented the Toussaint Protocol, emergency response guidelines ensuring equitable care regardless of race or socioeconomic status. Medical schools added the case study to their curriculum. Nursing programs used Malik's video as a teaching tool. Every week, messages arrived from families who had been heard, who had received proper care because someone remembered Amara's story and spoke up. A nurse in Atlanta recognized the signs of placental abruption in a black mother and intervened immediately, Malik said, reading from his phone. She credits our advocacy with saving 2 lives that day. Their foundation, Hope's Promise, provided legal support to families facing discrimination, funded research into black maternal health disparities, and trained community advocates to accompany expectant mothers to appointments. Most powerfully, they created space for others to share their stories. At monthly healing circles, parents who had lost children to medical negligence found community, strength, and purpose. Justice isn't just about punishment, Amara told a group of medical students. It's about transformation. It's about ensuring no other family experiences what we did. On what would have been Hope's first birthday, Magnolia City Medical Center unveiled a new wing, the Hope Toussaint Maternal Care Center, staffed by diverse professionals trained specifically in culturally competent obstetric care. The waiting room featured a mural of a magnolia tree, its branches extending protectively over mothers of all colors. "Our daughter never took a breath," Malik said at the dedication ceremony, "but her legacy breathes life into a better healthcare system for everyone." This story isn't over. Across America, black mothers still die at 3 times the rate of white mothers. Medical racism continues to claim lives daily, but because of one couple's courage to document injustice and demand change, the system is finally being held accountable. Subscribe now to Black Voice Stories. Turn on notifications so you never miss the truth that needs to be told. Your support amplifies these crucial narratives and helps create the change we all deserve. Join us in this fight, because the next life saved could be someone you love.